think we wait for others to join. Before then, so I would like to ask us, um, why are you interested in this session? Okay, so if you want to talk, you can just unmute yourself. Why are you interested in ICOs and IDOs? You know, just share with us. Why do you want to be part of this? Who's going first? Why do you want to be part of this? Okay, can Timileyin, who is talking? I'm waiting for you guys.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Good evening. Good evening, Michelle. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
I joined this session because I want to learn more about IDOs and ICOs. I believe most of the times these coins that people invest in, that actually people that really make money from coins, are those that really get in early, right, before there's even a loud shout about the coins. For example, if you look at Solana, before there were some people that joined that had invested in Solana early, like when they just did their initial coin offerings or the initial exchange offerings. So those people that got in early, those are the people that really made the money before the whole buzz. So I believe this is where if you want to invest in crypto for a long term and also to actually make it big, you have to step in early. It's like the VC side of startups, right? VC are the people that actually those 10x and 100x is the VCs that invest early in these startups that makes the money. So I think something like this could also happen in the crypto space, and that's why I've joined this session to actually learn how to get into these IDOs and these ICOs, know what are the fundamentals and what to check to help me invest properly. So that's why I've joined this session.
That's actually great because, like you said, those who actually make it big are those who get in on ICOs and high deals. Okay, and that's why we are here. And when I and my team, came together, so I said, okay, let's work on something. Let's create an opportunity for people to actually get into IDOs. We'll be taking a deep dive in our presentation. So I also want to listen to someone else, one other person before we kick off. Why are you here? And what's your expectation?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Or good evening,
Yep.
rather.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah.
Yeah, I will. And the reason why I'm joining this section, honestly, is I've heard so much about crypto, about the forex market, and I've actually been very passive in the line. But really, the moderator of today, or our instructor, has been a huge inspiration. Like, I always see his activities and I'm always like, okay, this is going to be like a viable investment platform. And number one investment truly is that don't invest if you don't know about it. So I just want to come on board, at least have idea of what everything is all about, so that I can also make the 100x, 2x. I don't like hearing all this thing and not being part of it, really. So basically, that's one of the reasons I'm here. And thank you for organizing this section. Hope to satisfy my test. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. And you see, that's one thing. It's the fact that you are missing out of something big. Is always as opposed to be part of this. And interestingly, is that sometimes some persons are genuinely interested in these stuffs, but a lot of scams are everywhere, right? So most times people are very skeptical of what platform to join and the likes. So I believe that we are with the right platform, and basically we are here to enlighten you, share informations with you, and also listen to your question and answer your question, because that's basically why we are here. So to invest in what we understand. Okay, so before I proceed, I would like to do a short introduction of myself and my colleague in which we are working on this project together. So my name is Tumishi Olaoluwa, and I'm a forex trader, and I'm also a crypto research analyst. So I've worked with a couple of projects. I currently work with a DeFi company in the UK, creating DeFi solution for cross-border payments between UK and Africa, particularly West Africa and East Africa. Okay, and I'm also the director of director of operations. Yeah, for E2E. E2E is emerging market for emerging economy, and we started the fellowship recently, and we started the fellowship yesterday. So, and we have fellows from different parts of the world: Germany, UK, London, and the likes like that. And okay, currently I also manage ThinkSmart, and alongside with six other smart young men who are very keen at various areas. Those who are specialists in crypto, those who are specialists in forex, those who are specialists in arbitrage, those who are specialists in airdrops. And of course, I don't advocate for what I've not benefited from. When I got hooked up with one of my team members, he just showed me one or two things, and then all of a sudden I got an airdrop worth 700 and something thousand naira. That's $1,200. Yeah, that should be around 700 and something thousand. Just like that, free money. Why he himself got an airdrop worth of $10K, $10K. That's free money, 5 million. So we are partakers, we are testifiers. So we are not just talking from an angle of let's try it out. It's something that should work. It's something that I think I would. So we are talking from an area of experience, because we have benefited from it. Okay. And also I got into crypto actively in 2020. Started trading, though I've been trading forex for years. So I started trading crypto in 2020. I got fascinated with cryptocurrency. Later, I got interested in the technology driving it, and then dived into blockchain deeply. And I had my first speaking engagement at the World Solana's Day with a global platform, Unit Masters, where I spoke on proof of history, exploring Solana's cryptographic clock. And this has been an experience that has developed me over time. Just 3 days back, I was certified as a blockchain expert. And of course, doesn't mean that I know everything, but then, of course, everybody, the space is still new. So we can't say someone is an expert. We are learning every day. And in the blockchain and crypto space, every day there is always something new. Sometimes it might get very tiring, if you don't quickly just specialize. If you are trying to catch up with everything, you might just be lost. But if you just specialize, okay, NFTs, metaverse, DeFi, and the likes like that. So you are good at one before diving into the other. Okay, so with me is also my colleague. His name is Joseph Onome. We are working on this project together, and we do a lot of analysis on ICOs and IDOs. Probably I will let him speak for himself, and then I proceed. So, analyst Joseph, can you just introduce yourself? What you do, and yeah. Analyst Joseph, are you there?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
My name is Joseph Onome, and I'm a young professional in the field of finance. Um, Before this, I've actually worked with, I've been on equity research. I've been an equity research analyst for over a year now, and from there, I've learned a lot about researching and making analytics on financial markets. Then I got into the crypto markets early last year, and from there, I've got an opportunity to learn from competent people such as Rome, the crypto preacher, and it's just a brief introduction. So I've had the opportunity to do some research projects with Tumishe and Olaoluwa. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Are you done?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Great. So thank you very much. And of course, analyst Joseph actually knows his onions, and he's one of the best persons I've worked with. So we are together and we are in the right hands. So I would share my screen now. We have a brochure. So for everyone who gets involved in after this presentation, now you want to get started, we'll share the brochure with you so that you can also read through. Also, we'll share the video presentation. So let me share my screen. So can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Thank you. So we are FinSmart, and this is the FinSmart Community Investment Brochure. I'll be walking you through this briefly. Introduction to portfolio management, FinSmart funding, growth prospects of cryptocurrency, what are seed rounds, private sales, IDOs, ICOs, and IEOs. Success criteria for initial offerings and project valuation, cost, budget, and benefit, fees, charges, and settlement, risk, then brochure summary. Then we move to question and answer. So this is the introduction here. So now, of course, some of us might be very familiar with what portfolio management is, but I would just like to give us an overview from the presentation we have here. So from what we have here, we say it is difficult for many persons to sustain and increase the level of wealth because they do not know what to invest in. Portfolio management is about looking into different investment opportunities and selecting the one that have the highest growth potential. So portfolio managers gain access to important information to improve investment decisions in a growing economy and understand how to navigate the growing market in order to increase investors' wealth. So one of those things as a portfolio management is thorough research is being used. Thorough research is being made into projects, having leveraging on important informations to make better investment decisions, and that is why we are here. So we create a portfolio management options for investors who are willing to get in on early projects. And of course, like the first person who shared why he was here, like, okay, he has read through several articles and seen in several places that those who make money from crypto, even stocks, are those who invest, in the early stage. In fact, that like those who have invested like a VC, taking a VC position. And that is the position we are taking right here. Okay, so not to bore you with so many of this information, I'll just go straight to the key important ones, and then I'll share this document with only interested persons after the presentation and also the recordings. So now, what is FinSmart Fund? It's a mini venture capital. It's not a full-fledged venture capital. It's a mini venture capital that raises money from investors and directly invests in quality seed rounds, private sales, IDOs and ICOs with good prospects for potential upside growth. FinSmart has access to pools of data and information necessary to make competent analysis and valuations on upcoming projects and investing on these projects that have high growth prospects with controlled risk. Now, so what do we do as FinSmart Fund now? Now, we make informations and opportunity to assess private sales and seed rounds available to investors. Now, the thing is this: getting in on private sales and seed rounds comes with a large cost and a large fund, which is not just anybody can get in on, seed rounds, private sales. Now, because even most persons, who get in on launchpads, getting on ICOs, IDOs, and not just the seed rounds and the private sales. Now, why is it like that? Outside there, to get in on IDOs and ICOs, there's what we call staking. So every launchpad has their own stake. Now, let me take BSC pad as an example. For those who are familiar with BSC pad, or for those who are familiar with Speedify, or for those who are familiar with BSCS in Launchpad. Now, this Launchpad, they have a specific amount you would need to stake on the Launchpad. Before that amount, the amount you stake on the Launchpad will guarantee you the volume of allocation that you will get. So imagine you have to stake an average of $5,000 that you will not be touching, but you will just take it, buy the coin of that launchpad and stake it on the launchpad, like 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, because the higher you stake, the higher the allocation that will be given to you, when an ICO project is up and you are trying to, take advantage of it. So you would need to have staked, locked up $5,000, $2,500, $10,000 in an account before you can leverage on that. Now, so I see that many persons don't have that funds, and a lot of persons are interested in getting into these seed rounds. So what did FinSmart do differently? What did we do differently? So when we looked out for crypto VCs, crypto venture capitals, established crypto venture capitals, like persons, crypto venture capitals who invest each funds, say $1 million, $2 million, $3 million in millions on these projects. Now, these venture capitals they have direct access to the founders and to the team. So they can always make direct calls to the team to cross-check what is going on, what's their project all about, why is it important, why is it different from other projects, have they done any raise before, some of all those things that has to do with one-on-one conversation with the founders. So these VCs have very tight information and access to these founders. So then FinSmart Fund now decided to partner with a crypto VC, and the VC is based in Sydney. That's Sydney in Australia. Right now, what is FinSmart's partnership like? So FinSmart is also involved in deep research with the crypto VC in order to find lucrative products and projects that we can invest in. As of yesterday, there are projects that are coming up. As of yesterday, our analyst, which is analyst Joseph, actually worked on a research report on a project that was given to us by this crypto VC for us to make research on them and tell them if it's a viable project or not. So while we do our own research and send to them, they review the research, we discuss over it, then we conclude if this is a project we are launching to our investors. And please note that we ourselves put in our money into this project, right? So we are creating opportunity for everyone to get in, right? With as little amount which I'll be talking about as we go on. So now this gives us the opportunity to access information. Now our partnership with the venture capital will give us direct information regarding the project, direct information regarding the project, and most importantly, we get in on seed rounds. Now, getting in on seed rounds is different from getting in on ICOs on launch pads, right? Getting in on seed rounds shows that we are getting in at a very, very cheap price. We are getting the project at a very, very cheap price. Then the price of a seed round is different from the price of a private sales. Now, the price of an ICO launchpad or an IDO launchpad is different from the price of a private sales. So which means if we get on a project on a seed round, even when the project gets on the ICO price listing, we might be 2x already away from our entry point, right? And because we carry out thorough research on this project, we have mitigated and controlled the risk, of actually investing in projects that are not viable. Now, and I'm not saying that this investment does not come with its own risk, right? And I'm not saying that this is an 100%, investment ROI promising, projects, right? But I'm saying that no risk, no reward, right? So if you are investing in a project now, we have carried out research to understand how we can mitigate against those risks. Even currently as we speak, because though we are officially launching today, right? But we have on the back end invested in two projects already. We've invested in two projects. We've invested in MetaMall. Some of you who follow my status would see that I post about MetaMall, and I personally bought a land on MetaMall, one of the NFTs, right? Which I can either decide to stake it, I can either decide to give it out for rent, I can either decide to sell it, at a higher price. And these lands are limited in number. That talks about demand and supply, because when there is scarcity, it drives up price, right? So now we do our own research to understand this project and their offerings. We've invested in Plutonia, and these are metaverse games, metaverse projects, right? One is a gaming project, one is a mall where different activities take place, where shopping takes place, and a lot of stuff takes place, right? I was playing around Decentraland yesterday, where I prepared my avatar. I was walking around Decentraland, went to a mall, went to a party, changed my shoe, and all these things. These are innovations that, even though they look crazy right now, I'm telling you, in the next few years, they won't be as crazy as the fact that those who get in early, would make difference in their investments. And that is why we are here, right? I've personally invested. One of those things that triggered me to take this opportunity more deeper, is because around late last year, around October, right? I was on a group with some crypto enthusiasts, and then a project was dropped, and then the admin said, "Do you know what? Let's contribute to getting on this project, right? Let's contribute to getting on this project. This project is potential." And they sent the details of the project. I looked into the project and I decided to invest. So the portion that was given to us, the portion that was allocated was $5,000, right? So some group of us came together to raise that $5,000 and we put it on the project. Do you know that when that project was launched on their token generation event, on the day of the token generation event, which we only had access to 15% of the investment? Do you know that I withdrew 50% of my capital as profit? Like, so my capital is still running, right? I took out 50% already. That's to tell you that the project did 2 to 3x. And I looked at it that, wow, if I can do a little amount and get this kind of returns from investing in this ICO, if how much more I invest, if how much I would make much more when I invest bigger amounts in different promising projects, right? And then it now depends on your financial target. The crazy thing is this: crypto can make you a millionaire, and I'm not talking about naira now. I'm talking about dollars. Now, in October, a friend shared a screenshot that he invested $6,000 in 5 different early stage projects, mostly metaverse projects: Axie Infinity, Mana, Sand, and invested in Solana, and he invested in Matrix. $6,000. That's as at I think August. Now, as at December, I think November already, yes. As at November, he shared a screenshot that 6,000 had become 1 point something million. Now, this is not rampant because not everyone is that strategic, right? And then you might not have that $6,000 to invest in a project. But I tell you, with your $500, $200, you can cover a gap of $5,000, $10,000 in a space of 1 year. That is just the possibility. Okay? And I'm not saying that this investment does not come with its own risk. So if you are investing now, you are investing, number one, based on your own choice and interest to invest. So by joining the Free Smart Fund, we make provision for this information available. We tell you, okay, so and so project is up for a raise. Now, if you are interested in raising for this project, send your funds to so and so address and send the screenshot so that we can confirm it. Right? Now, we don't force any project on anybody. Right? We do our research, we invest our own money, and we give you that opportunity to come and feast with us. Right? Now, why did I came up with this fund? Because I believe that investment is about numbers. Right? When we come with our funds together, right, the ROI becomes more. I will explain in the next slide. So FinSmart seeks to explore the competitive advantage available in the crypto market, offered through initial project launch and listing. The aim is to generate profit for investors by entering a market early and gaining access to early resources. Now let's take a look at this growth perspective of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency has gained cryptocurrency has gained relevance in the financial market over the years. Cryptocurrency is a digital asset that allows one party to securely make online payments to another party in a decentralized system. Such cryptocurrency is Bitcoin, which is created and launched in 2009 by Satoshi Nakamoto, and practically had no value. It had no value. Now, people are skeptical that Bitcoin will fail. Of course, it failed, but it failed to the upside. Now, there is one thing to not believe a project, right? And it's another thing to try it out and say, okay, let's see how it goes. Are you getting me now? And that is why it is advisable that when you are investing, you are not investing the money that, excuse me please, you are not investing the money that you can't afford to lose. Now, we say this just so that you have it in mind that investment comes with its own risk. Investment in assets comes with its own level of risk. Okay? Now, illustration. In 2009, the price has practically no value. In 2010, the price went to 0.1 cents. In 2011, 0.3. In 2012, 5.27. Then you can see how the price kept increasing. In 2017, 997.69. In 2018, 13,412. Now, if you see some persons who tell you they've been into Bitcoin in 2011, right? Most of these persons, the average funds they have in their account, I'm not saying that, so the average, the average, especially those who held, right, and got in and sold and got in back again, the average they have in their account is $500,000, right? $500,000. I know of those who got into this project. When they showed their screenshots, you'll be scared that wow. Now these persons did not just come in with so much money, right? They came in with little and held, right? So you can imagine somebody coming in, even if you come in at 2015 or you come in at 2016, right, with just $500, dollars, which means you'll be having just one Bitcoin. Imagine what that is now. With $500, you're now having an equivalent of $40,000 in your account. Now imagine those who had 10, who had 20, who had 15. Okay. Now we can see the chart here, chart illustration here. This shows the growth hike of this project, and that's why what we recommend for our investors is when we are investing in ICOs, IDOs, and all that, we are putting in the money for a long term, right? So I would explain further how some of these ICO projects works and how money are distributed, how returns are distributed. Now, Bitcoin grew from 0.3 on the 1st of January 2011 to over 29,000 in January 2001. Now, investors who bought $100 worth of Bitcoin in 2011, owning 333.3 Bitcoin, would have over 9.7 million by January 2001. Right? Now, that's looking at the space of 10 years. Now, if I want to ask you, what is your 10-year goal for your investment in cryptocurrency? Right? They are solid projects. You look at people who got in on Solana when it was $2. People who got in on Matic when it was 0.0. We would walk you through how Matic ROI flowed. Right? Now, what are seed rounds, private sales, ICOs, and IDOs? Okay? Excuse me, please. I want to quickly do something. Okay? Okay. Okay. Now, these are ways that companies and individuals raise capital or participate in investment opportunities in the cryptocurrency market. Now, it's related to, it's similar to what happens in the stock market, where new startups comes with their idea, and we have venture capital. Some of you watch Shark Tank, all those shows that they show on the TV. I don't know what particular station, but then, where some panel of investors will probe a project, and then if the project interests them and all that, they look to raise fund to, those are venture capitals, right? Angel investors. They invest in early projects. Now you look at angel investors who invested in Flutter Wave. When Flutter Wave was nothing, when they had, when they are still at the preliminary stage. Now look at what Flutter Wave is worth now. Billion $1 billion or something. They are evaluated at $1 billion or something now. They are now unicorn, and several other startups like that. So you look at early investors who came in at their, to invest in them early would see the difference. Would make so much profit. Now, same thing happens when what happens in the stock market. We call it initial public offering. Where early investors come in and buy into the stock price at a very cheap price before they are being offered, to the public. Now, this same thing is what is replicated in the crypto market, and because of the decentralized nature, though it is being, we are still fighting with the VCs, right? The VCs are also coming in to taking a large portion of these seed rounds, and that is why the best persons to partner with and to work with are VCs. They can actually give us that large leverage into the market, right? Because of course you need funds to actually be able to secure these positions. Individuals who buys ICOs, IDOs on launch pads are those who have extra funds that they can stake in the market. And of course, I was with a friend recently, and he showed me his account on BSC Launchpad, and then I saw that he had to stake $20,000 that he won't be touching if ever he still wants to keep having access to ICOs and IDOs. So imagine having that huge amount of money just being stocked. Of course, it's in token, so if the token value rise, the value of that money too will rise. But then, how many persons would have that money to single-handedly that they can just keep somewhere, right? So okay, so that I can have access to this. So if you are staking $20,000, how much will be left for you to start buying ICOs and IDOs? So we can see that most times it's only those with fat pockets, that can actually, personally, individually getting on ICOs and IDOs, not private sales and seed rounds now. So only venture capitals that have access to getting on seed rounds and private sales. And this is the opportunity we are bringing closer to you through our solid partnership with a crypto VC and also our authentic research. Okay. Now one thing about seed rounds. Now, seed round is the very first capital that a business intends to raise for starting a project. So, in this early period, we have these seed rounds even comes in stages. So we have round A, round B, round C, depending on the number of the stages of seed round that the players want to raise, right? And it's venture capitals that gets in on these seed rounds, and that is the leverage that they are leveraging on these crypto VCs, to also join this level playing ground of entering into early stage projects at seed rounds. Now, private sales is also an early stage investment round for strategic investors with considerable amount of investable funds. This type of investment comes after a successful seed round. So if once a seed round is being raised, right, then private sales is now being raised. These are for strategic investors, right? And we also have the opportunity to always get on seed rounds and to always get on private sales. The last two projects we got on seed rounds and private sales, where we were given 5% seed rounds and 95% private sales, right? So we're able to lock in on 5% of seed round and 95% of private sales. Okay. So initial coin offering is a source of capital for startups or existing companies to participate in investment opportunity. ICOs are tokens issued to investors who are willing to invest in a startup, with future utility tokens given to investors, which give them the access to the product of the issuers. Now, it is usually in the centralized exchange. Now, Ethereum was originally funded through an ICO, which took place in 2014. Now, doing something that the ICO era was the era of Ethereum. the ICO era was the era of Ethereum, and Ethereum really made people, out there crazy funds, crazy money. Why? Because Ethereum at that point were having early projects coming in. People made money from Uniswap ICO. People made money from Polygon ICO, which is Matic. People made money from all those DEX and exchanges, platforms, projects that were launched on Ethereum, right? And these are opportunities for us. Now, an IDO is a source of capital. Now, when we talk about IDO, IDO is initial DEX offering, right? ICO is initial coin offering. Now, ICO is launched on a centralized exchange, right? While IDO is launched on a decentralized exchange. Okay. Now, it's ICO now. IDO now is launched on exchanges like PancakeSwap. PancakeSwap is launched on PancakeSwap, Uniswap. So these are DEX, right? So these ICOs and IDOs are launched on them. You hear, this coin is available on PancakeSwap, it's available on Uniswap, it's available on PooCoin, all those kind of exchanges. They are not so popular because they are DEX, right? Unlike the centralized exchanges that we know, the Binance, these blah 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 blah, what is it called, KuCoin, Get.io, and also we have initial exchange offering. So when an exchange is the one handling an initial offering, it is called initial exchange offering. So on Get.io, we have what Get.io called startup projects, right? Get.io startup project, where they give Get.io users the opportunity to get in on IEOs, or that is initial coins that are offered on the project. But the same thing still applies. You still have to hold a significant amount of coins of Get.io coins to be able to access those projects, right? Now, even on Binance, you need to hold a significant amount of BNB, 50 BNB, 20 BNB, 10 BNB, and which is the money you will not be touching, just so that you can access all these ICOs. Now, not everybody might have that financial capacity to do that. Okay. Now, during an initial stage of a project, a token could range from below 0.0002 to 0.002, right? Now, which is a 3 decimal place to a 2 decimal place. Now, and could go as high as 001. So imagine you are buying a seed round at this price, and then at the time they will be doing their ICO, they will listing at 0.01. They will saying at 0.01, right? Now, that's to tell you look at the difference from year to year. You are already like 100x ahead already from this place, right? So, and this is the position we look at locking in on. This coin could further rise to $2. Of course, look at Solana. Somebody who got in on Solana at $2. Solana is at $100 now. Look at Bitcoin. Somebody who got in at Bitcoin at $5. Bitcoin is at $40,000 now. Now, an investor who purchased $100 worth of token at ICO gets 10,000 units of the token, right? Once the token gets to $2, the investor's token would be equivalent to $20,000 within 12 months. Now look at it. You are using $100 to cover for this large position. This is the possibility that crypto has created. Looking at history and foreseeing the future. Cost, budget, and benefit. Of course, like I explained, getting in on private sales and IDOs comes with a cost. Or some cost is $1,000 per project. However, FinSmart has covered this bureaucratic process and difficulty. in getting allocation. This is why FinSmart is connecting investors with opportunity to get into early stage projects with seed rounds, private sales, IDOs and ICOs, and provide investors with the option of investing in quality projects as low as $200 on each project. Now, take note of the keyword. Take note of this keyword: connecting investors to opportunity. Right? We are connecting you to opportunity. We are not mandating those opportunities on you. Of course, because not everybody actually wants to make money. You understand? And not everybody can stomach a risk, right? So you are not going to say, oh, FinSmart is responsible for me losing money on this particular project. No. Are you getting me now? Have I lost money on projects? I would have loved to show you the projects I've invested in, the ICOs. I've invested in 5 ICOs, in last year, and 2 this year, right? Via this opportunity. But the other ones I invested in was with a group of persons. Do you know what I'm saying now? So we just came together, funded, raised $5,000, $10,000, and then we pushed it in this project. Now, did everything succeed? No. Right? Now, are all of the projects functional? Yes. All of the projects are functional, but one of the projects out of the other ones, some are ready to list on their on the exchange. So I'm waiting for 2 to be listed. One has already been listed, which made 50x, and I was able to withdraw half of my capital already from the profit. Do you get the point now? So now I could have showed you, but then the money is there, the figure is there. I don't want to disclose, So I invested in 5 ICOs already. One of them is below the price I bought the project, right? So that to tell you that some projects might fail, and why some projects will not fail. Now imagine you put in $200, $500, $1,000 on different 5 projects each, right? $1,000 here, $1,000 here, $1,000, $1,000 here. One fails, and your $1,000 is now worth $500, which means probably you lost 50% of your capital. And one of the projects succeed, and your $1,000 is now worth $5,000, is now worth $10,000. Would you have to worry about the one that is below the price? No. Do you know what I'm saying now? This is how LD investors think. And that is why I'm only willing to work with investors who are not with the mindset of a pump and dump scheme, or with the mindset of this is, 100%, we are getting in on the project, this and that. No. Right? You have to come in with the understanding that high risk, high reward. What we are doing is connecting investors with opportunity, not forcing projects on investors. So when we put out projects out there, we tell you this project is available for a raise. I'm telling you, if you're not willing to, before my eyes like this, when I joined those VC guys, before my eyes like this, a project that was listed, right? We were going to raise $3,000 and $30,000 for that project, right? While I was still trying to reach out to my friends and clients who said, Tumisho, if you see any project that is out and is viable, just tell me, I'm willing to invest. Before I say Jack Robinson, right? Within an hour, investors on that group have taken 80% of the money. Right? There are even some that I tried to, some of my colleagues and friends and clients who have told me that I tried to reach them. When I saw that they were unreachable, I took my own money and few other persons. Before all these people take away the position, I put it there. They go back to me and say, the offer is closed. That's to tell you that even if they are not willing to invest, there are people, feasting on this opportunity. And that is why we are not forcing anybody. It's connecting. So I don't want to see tomorrow somebody will go and create one social media post on Twitter on this thing and say, this guy. these projects, by God's grace, I can put in my money on each of them, and that's what I'm doing. I put in my money on each of them, $500, $1,000, $500, $1,000 as they are coming out. So you are not going to use your money to scare me, and I'm not even intimidated about anybody's money. Somebody can have 1 million. I'm less concerned. I'm just focused on how to build my own financial capacity, build my own financial empire, and create value for people, create opportunities for people, connect people's opportunities. I will never mandate you, to invest on a project, except for some persons who want to get in on some of our offerings, because we offer another service, but it's different from this one. I don't want to, come up with that one now. It's a different thing. We might put that one outside later, and you want to learn about it too. You get what I'm saying now? Those ones we give you recommendation. Of course, this is what we do. We do research and recommend them to you. It's not your choice to choose. But that one we do recommendation and tell you, buy this token, buy it. It will do 2x before the end of this year. Do you understand? So that's a different one. For this ICO, IDO, we want you to understand that there are high risk in it. This is not to scare you. This is to tell you that some projects, the ones that succeed, will make you forget the one that did not succeed. Okay? Now, we are connecting. That is why FinSmart is connecting investors with opportunities to invest in early stage projects with seed rounds, private seeds, IDOs, ICOs, and provide investors the options of investing in quality projects with as low as $200. Now, we had to bring it lower, right? Because initially I was looking at it, okay, $500 and above. Okay, when I say okay, fine, some persons might actually not be able to stomach $500 on a single project like that. They might be able to, stomach $200, right? So my colleague is now telling we have our colleague are telling me that there might be some persons who want to also invest, but they don't have more than $100, right? I try to show it all that no, anybody that does not have $200 and above is not going to get in on this project, right? But I know that there are some persons who might have $100, to get in on the project. So I will tell you what offering they are giving to people who only have less than $200, as we move on. Now, okay, success criteria for initial offering and project valuation. So after this, I would bring in my colleague to walk us through Matic's returns over the years. Now, success criteria for initial offering and project valuation. FinSmart is equipped with quality researchers and leverages an opportunity presented by project developers during initial stage of their project and partnership with international venture capital. Okay, I think talking about this one. FinSmart aims to bridge the gap by raising and managing as low as $200 from each investor and researching on unique projects to finance. Right, a project can appreciate from as low as 2x to 100x of the initial capital of maturity of investment. That means that a project of $200 could appreciate from $400 to over $20,000. Excuse me, please. With the project duration. Now, the benefit lies in the appreciation of the total investment. The investor gets 95% of the gains after the initial capital, excluding the operating expenses. Excluding the operating expenses is paid out. FinSmart gets the remaining 5%. Now, for a project that returns 10 times of the initial investment of $2,000, where each investor funds $200 each. An average of $20,000 will be shared among them in proportion to their capital after the initial capital is returned. Now, before I proceed to the next content, I would like to welcome my colleague. Is I would say the chief investment analyst, you know, to give us a presentation. I will keep my screen. I will be sharing the file, so he will take over and walk us through this. So over to you, Analyst Joseph.
All right, thank you so much. Well, this is just a spreadsheet of Matic. First of all, before we try and invest into any projects, we are trying to understand what the project is meant for. What are the uses of that particular project? What is the aim of the project? What the project tends to achieve? I get it. So one of the uses of this Matic is that it tries as much as possible to cut costs, to reduce the transaction fee of making payments when compared to Ethereum. For example, Ethereum, when trying to make payments with Ethereum through Ethereum blockchain, the charge, I think, for $100, charge as high as $36. So one of those things that Matic comes to seeks to solve is that high cost of transaction, and they try as much as possible to make to create scalability in the market. And now, so if you observe from this, okay. Sorry.
Do you want me to move?
No, I'm good. Okay, now
Okay.
if you're observing this Matic, you see that the initial price as at April 2019, which is the ICO price, the price in which they listed this particular token was less than a cent. So investors that got in at this particular stage, okay, all right. So investors that got in at this particular stage, let's say they invested $1,000 or $2,000 related to the amount that this particular project was. Say they invested $1,000 in this project, and comparing it to April 20.
Proceed.
Okay. Now, a particular investor invested $1,000 on this particular project, and then from that particular 25th of April, if you notice on the 29th, the price of the project went to 1 cent. It was still in line with the particular movement. Then on this 16th of May, the project was at 1 cent. Yeah. If you're looking at the right, which is the right side of the project, you are going to see where I wrote X movement. So I'm trying to calculate the returns of a particular investor. If a person invested a particular amount, what return would the person expect at each interval of time? So now, if you're looking at 16th of June 2019, you will notice that an investor that invested $1,000 on this project would have gotten 7x of his money. Okay? And then from there, you're looking at it, you see that there's a consistent rise and a little dip in the particular project. Okay, running all through from August 2019 to December 2019, you will see that the project stayed in a particular amount for that duration. The project stayed in this particular amount of 1 cent till January 2020. And then the rise of this particular token started from 2021. From January 2021.
Okay, you want me to calculate for January 2021, Abby?
Yes.
Okay. 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 Let me see. Okay, January 2021. Okay. Let me move this thing down then. Sorry, I just wanted us to flow with the the calculation so that it doesn't look like jargons.
Okay. So the reason why this particular token was within that range for a long period of time was because as at then, you know that so many people were not really aware of the crypto market and how it operates. So many people are in contradiction to the blockchain. They just don't believe in the project, that this blockchain would actually scale. So there were some contradiction. That's why the price stayed for so long at that particular range. But at the beginning of 2021, the market scaled, and then you saw the price went to 3 cents, which was 11x of the particular initial investment. Okay. From there, February, March, April, May, you see that the price, the returns, X returns steadily grew. So you see, from that 2019, where the project was actually launched, to 2020, ending of 2020, most people will say, my money is not even making movement. It has been in this particular place for a long time. The benefit or the advantage is long term. Those that held it for longer term. So from that 2021, you see how the price started increasing.
Should I go up?
No. The price started
Okay.
increasing from January, February, March, April, May, and it started falling from May, when there was a little dip in the market as a result of Elon Musk's comment on Bitcoin. You know, when Elon Musk made a comment on Bitcoin, and then it affected the market, the prices of other cryptocurrencies started dropping, then followed by this China issue. Then when the markets rebounded as at August 2021, you see the price started going up. So from this, I'm just trying to show you that an investment from April 2020 to December 2021 would have made approximately 796x of the initial investment. So an investor who invested $1,000 would have gotten from April 2020 in this particular project and put that in April 2020. Invested in April 2019 and put that at April 2020. Would have gotten approximately 3x of his capital. But it has held a longer time. It held from April 2021.
Please mute your Paul. Please mute, please.
Those are held
Sorry
from
for the
April.
interruption.
Those are held from
Continue.
April 2020 to April 2021 would have gotten approximately 166x of their initial investment. For $1,000 from 2 years would have gotten $166,000 for their initial investment. And provincial, let's say the closer market, that's quite a good return. But those are held longer till December would have gotten 796x of their money. Those that invested $1,000 would have gotten $796,000 from initial investment of 1,000.
Great. Are you done?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, thank you very much for that rundown. And as we can see, having 7,796x as of December last year. So let's calculate it now. An investor who puts in $100 at 0.00263 now at the price of $2 in December. That's multiplying the unit, which is 380,000 to 8. Okay, let's just do this calculation like this. Times 2.073. So the person now has $788,212 in his or her account. How many years, please? How many years? Just 3 years. Just 3 years. Investing in solid project. Investing in solid project. That's what we want to do, right? And that's why we are here. Now, we go straight to what are the fees, charges, and settlements for investors joining in on our project. Now, at the completion of a project, all investors within that project are sent an email and SMS to state details of their project, amount invested, price of project, profit obtained, allocation process, etc. Each project comes at a cost to FinSmart, from staking on Launchpad to settlement of foreign partners to carrying out in-depth project research. FinSmart charges a flat rate of 15% from every initial capital invested into a project that covers the cost of research, that is operating budget. After a maturity of this project and settlement of the investment capital, a 5% profit is allocated to the firm, that's FinSmart, and 95% of the profit is paid out to investors. Investors decide to receive their capital and returns in USDT, BUSD, or the native token of the project invested, and while they bear the transaction cost. Now, risk. Every opportunity comes with its own level of risk. However, FinSmart offers quality research analysis on various projects with competent experts in the field of research methodology. Each research analyst has different levels of experience and skills in research and will do their best in providing information to quality projects and diversify appropriately. Note: investing in some projects may come at a financial cost when the project fails. Investing in private sales and investment in general can lead to the loss of capital. Money invested cannot be refunded until maturity of the project. FinSmart reserves the right to make changes to details of this document in the future. Now, this is a summary. Okay, so let me just walk you guys through this summary so that you can understand. So now, FinSmart will first return the investor's initial capital before sharing up the upside in proportion to the investor. However, the funds capitally pays for the investor's annual operating budget, which is 5% of the profit. This means that if an investor invests $1,000 in a single project, the firm usually charges operating budget of 15% of the initial capital and invest the balance of $850. At maturity of the project, if the project returns 20x, FinSmart will pay out the $850 of the initial investment to the investor before sharing the profit. The illustration 3 below displays how funds are invested. Now, initial investment, FinSmart debt, FinSmart balance, investors' returns. Now, FinSmart balance of $1,000 being invested in the project. Then operating cost of 15%, that's $150. Then the balance invested is $850. Now, if the project does 20x, that's $17,000. Now, return investors' initial capital, that's $850 minus $17,000 would have a balance of $16,150. FinSmart's commission from the profit is 5%. Now, which is 5% of $16,150 is $807.5. Then the balance is $15,342.5. Now, investors' return is $15,342.5. So, all things being equal, the sum of $15,342.5 will be paid out to investors as profit. Therefore, an initial investment of $100 will return approximately $16,192.5 to the investor on projects of 20x returns. Note that different investment provides different return. Therefore, some projects can return 2x while others return 100x and while others may return none. Thank you. So, thank you for your time. We are open to receiving your questions now. So, if you have a question, please let us know in the chat box while we call you to ask your question. If you have a question, let us know in the chat box while we'll call you up to ask your question. If you have a question, let us know in the chat box while we'll call you up to ask your question. If you have a question, someone said, wow, why did I not know of Matix last year? Solana is crazy too. If you check Solana's return, do you even want to talk about Axie Infinity? Don't talk about Sandbox. Don't talk about Decentraland. The returns that this project made from ICO level to their current price. Someone said I've been sleeping. Yes, okay, you have a question. Taiwo, Abi, yeah, you can ask your question, please. Taiwo, please ask your question. You can unmute yourself and ask your question. Okay. Taiwo, please ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much. It was really an insightful question. Sounds cliche, but it was really insightful, and I can see people already having a wish that they had known this before now. So my question is going to be around the risk part. Yes, it's juicy when you look at the return parts, and virtually all suitable investments or all investments and have their own risk. And what makes one attractive from none is the risk aversiveness, so to say. So, and from the explanation I've got, so it appears that all the risk is borne by the investor, right? So because it's possible like projects could fail. We don't pray for a project to fail, but we just have to understand that in business world that all projects cannot be successful. So in terms of risk, is it just going to be borne by the investor, or there's an arrangement of how to compensate investors in terms of risk?
Okay, are you done? Are you done? All right. So now, in terms of risk, like I said earlier from the presentation, that we are connecting investors while investing our own funds, right? So it's just like you buy into an IPO of a company, right? And the company failed from the start. Like upon listing, it went down and all. Are you going to hold the what is it called? The investment what is it called? The investment bank, or the investment fund, or whatever pioneered the IPO? No, right? This is the same thing that plays out here. Okay, we do our thorough research to making sure where I'm putting my funds, where my colleague is putting his fund, where the venture capital we've partnered with are putting their funds are in potential projects, right? However, each investor stands the ground to bear their own risk, having the understanding that we are connecting you to opportunity. Now, imagine you are the one who have the funds, you stake like $50,000 in a launch pad, then you have allocations, right? And you invest through the launch pad, and the project fails. There's nobody you can hold. You just learn. You learn from the experience, right? Now, what do we do to mitigate against investing in a dead project, right? Or a project that will fail? What do we do? So we carry out our research. Number one, from our own perspective, we have focus on 4 areas. Okay, we look at the technology driving the project. Now, their use case. Now, the founders and their experience. Now, what they have built. Who is on the project. Like who have gotten on the project, who are the funds for VCs on the project, who are their partners, what solution are they profiling, right? Then we look at the team. Now, who are the team? What prior experience have they had? Have they built something similar before? Have they worked on similar projects? Are they fresh teams with great idea? Do they have backings of other VCs? Okay. Then we look at the social intelligence, right? That is looking into their Twitter followers, their Telegram followers. We look at that, and we look at not just the follower and not just the members on Telegram or on Discord. We look at their engagement rate, right? And how enthusiastic the participants, the members of these groups and followers are, right? Their engagement rate on Twitter, their engagement rate on Telegram, and if there is a constant relationship between the admins and the members, because we join the group, study the activities on the group, is part of the research, because the crypto environment is a culture, right? It's a culture, and this culture is built around community, right? So every project, every crypto project, right, succeed when they have a community that is ready and willing to support the project. Now, these are part of our focus as well. Okay, and with our partnership with a crypto VC, we do have one-on-one conversations with the founders, right? Like the last time, the team had a one-on-one conversation with the CEO of MetaMall. Now that's because MetaMall, was having a lawsuit issue with Blockfolio, right? So I think Blocktopia, right? So, but then, in the crypto space, there's nothing like somebody copied your project, right? And then the CEO of MetaMall challenged the CEO of Blocktopia to a conversation on Twitter Space, right? To clear the air. Why? Because Blocktopia felt threatened, right, by the ideas and technology of MetaMall. Give you a point now. Now, this is also like a red flag, but the fact that the MetaMall CEO handled the issue, intelligently, called the CEO of Blocktopia to a conversation on an open space, right, and then cleared the air to understand that innovations people are free to innovate anything around any idea, right? That you've come up with a solution doesn't mean I can't come up with that same solution and better one, right? And now that alone made more people to know about MetaMall and got in on MetaMall project. Because if a successful project, because Blocktopia was already successful, I think Blocktopia did 50x at their launch. So if Blocktopia was threatened by MetaMall, that shows that Blocktopia has seen so much potential in MetaMall. Are we together now? And then we got in on MetaMall. Do you understand? So that these are the risk, their risk and their reward. The bottom line is this: each investor stands the chance of bearing his or her own risk, right? Thank you. Yeah, someone is asking here. So I don't know if you are clear with that, Taiwo.
Yeah, yes, I'm clear. That's perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Somebody's asking in the group said, my question is for individuals just starting out. Will there be a step-by-step guide on how to invest? Okay, so the thing is this: we handle the investment part, right? Yours is to pick the project that you want. If we drop a project tomorrow, because we are working on 2 projects now, we are carrying out research, doing some internal evaluation and analysis, right? Like I said earlier, we did our own path and we sent it to our partner, the VC. So they are working on it alongside with other research team members, speaking with the founders to be sure that we are in safe hands. Okay, and then we get in on the project. So we have 2 projects that would most likely come out, right, soon. Okay, so now this project, when the project comes out, we might have an allocation of $3,000, $5,000, right? Now, depending on the allocation we have, we now put it out to the group that, okay, we are raising funds for this project. Now, so if you have your money now we'll tell you reach out to me, we drop a link, because number one, you would have to have either a Binance account or a Trust Wallet account. But with a Binance account, you can just most likely we use US BUSD B20. So we'll show you how to do a short video of how to select the right wallet address, I'm sorry, the right wallet address when you are sending the funds. So you send the funds to the wallet address we'll provide for you, right? And you send us a screenshot of your transaction. Then we'll confirm it when we receive it, right? We impute your details, and like we said in that in the presentation earlier, after the all investments have been made, and we'll send your information, the details, your information, which is the amount you invested, the percentage, your allocation, the units you have on the project you invested in. So we send that information to you. So while we are raising the fund, you send the money to us, then we invest the money in a whole into the project. I don't know if I've been able to answer you, Chinyere. So someone is asking, so are we going to get suggestions like this for 2020? That's why we are here. That's why we are here. Like I told you, we've started the investment already from our back end. We've invested in 2 projects now. One will be launching on February. I think another one by the ending of this month of February also. So we've already invested in 2 projects, right? So if you are getting in with us here, as many who are willing, right? Because we have another group for those who have actually invested. So we would only add you to that group. It's part of our investment corner, in investors corner, right? And we call it investment corridor, right? So we'll add you to that investment corridor when you've invested with us, right? So now, before we post a project here, we will post the project in that investment corridor, so that those on the investment corridor will have first-hand information to get in on the project. Then if there's anything remaining, we'll now share it on this page that we've created here, so that you can now invest and then be added to the investors corridor for ICO and IDO and private sales investments. When does this opportunity begin? It has begun, right? So the opportunity has begun already. It's now for you to either join the opportunity or wait to see us do 50x, 20x, 2x, 10x before you now believe and now jumping on the project. Okay. Yes, Ori Ofe. Yeah, you can ask your question. If you want to unmute, you can unmute and ask your question. Ori Ofe. Ori Ofe. Good.
Yeah, it's Oreo Fair.
Hey, don't mind me. I'm a Yoruba boy, but look at me. All right. Ori Ofe, yeah.
Actually, the request I wanted to ask for was, before the video class started, I was having an issue with my connection, like internet. So the request I wanted to ask for is that, can we have like maybe a summary of everything we have today, or probably for people that are not online, me that I was having an issue with connection. So that's what I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, so everyone present on this voice call will get the replay of this presentation, and also would send the document, which is this book that I presented. Would send it right to the group. Okay, so in case you have your friends, or persons who are interested, you can share the document with them, and and get them on the project. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. When researching projects with such possibility, what should one look out for? Yeah, so like I said, right, we focus on, part of the things we focus on is the technology driving the project, the team behind the project, the community behind the project, then the timeline of the project. So some projects might take 24 months and 12 months. So there's what we call vesting period, right, or vested period. This vested period is so in order to create stability for the project. So imagine if on the day of their listing, all investors can sell their token at once. So when the price pumps up, if all investors sell their token at once, it has become pump and dump. So most of those things we look out for is even their token economics, their market cap, and their vesting period, right? So if on the first day of vesting period, the project is allowing investors to withdraw 50%, 30%, that's a dangerous signal. It's already a pump and dump, right? So a project that does 10, 5, 15%, 20%, what is it called? TGE, that on the day of listing, you can withdraw 15% of your returns and your capital altogether, right? Now, and then over the months, let's say over 12 months, you'll now be able to withdraw 5%, or over 6 months, you'll now be able to withdraw 10%, or over 6, 7 months, 8 months, you'll be able to withdraw so and so percentage of percent. So now, a project that spreads out the rate at which investors can withdraw shows how stable that project can be. Because imagine if investors are allowed to withdraw, me and you, the way we are thinking is to cash out. So imagine a project does 50x and we can all withdraw at once. It will be like war. Because while some persons will make money by dumping on other persons, other persons will lose money, right? And of course, there are times you might be sleeping when the project will be listed. Except we would have to stay on ground on the day of on the day of listing, right? Imagine probably you are not around or you are away and all that, and a project, has been listed, and then they give opportunity for people to sell large volumes. You will need now because the vesting period is too large, and the amount people can withdraw on the first day of listing, if it is too large, then the project can be dumped, right? So we look at all those things: the vesting period, the market cap, that's under the token economics, how are their token distributed, advisors, what percentage are they taking, founders, what percentage are they taking. There is a percentage that every founder, must take. There's a range of percentage. If founders are taking higher than that, it's a red flag. So that project is not built for the people. That project is built for the founder. We don't do that. Do you get what I'm saying now? If the advisors are taking more projects, we don't do that. Then, if the founders, because the founders also have some token allocated to them, if the founders have access to withdraw their token at the early stage of the project, it's a red flag. Every founder must be willing to lock their holdings at least 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. But a founder who is willing to cash out, that one is not after creating value. So we don't. These are those things we consider. You understand? So those things we consider and we look into. I don't know if I've been able to answer your question. Okay. Yeah. Charles, please, you can go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the presentation and your explanation so far. So I have a question and then like a follow-up suggestion. So the question is, when we invest, let's say for example there's a particular project and we have an allocation of about $5,000, and then you make it open to us and then we put in our $500 or $200. Is that investment solely for that particular project, or you accumulate, bring the money together and then you spread the total amount of money across different projects? That's the first question. Are we investing directly in one particular project? So every time there is a new project, we bring in new capital. Every time there's a new project, we bring in new capital. Is that the way the structure is?
Yes. Let me talk about now. So yes, right. We only raise fund per project. You get. So in a different ball game, if we are raising each fund to now split it or no. Yeah, that changed the entire investment pattern and strategy and the purpose of the fund, right? So the purpose of this fund is to give investor access to each project, right? So we are raising funds and for an allocation. We are raising allocation for that particular project.
Okay, okay. So my suggestion, you just said something regarding to what I want to say next. So my suggestion was, given the fact that not every project is bound to do 20x or 100x, right? And the way these funds usually work, whether it's hedge fund, a VC fund, what they do is there's usually a pool of funds, and then these funds are spread across different projects. Because if we invest in about 4 coins, right? The 4 coins, like you said, you invested about 5 coins. The 5 coins cannot all go down, right? And just one coin alone can even give us enough returns that will cover for any loss that will generate or incur from any one coin that did not work out. So I'm
Yeah,
thinking, what if we, in a bit to reduce our risk, right? We pool the money together and then spread that money across different projects. It's a suggestion, just so that we know that, okay, even if one project fails, we know that we see how others that are going on, and there's a potential for us to get returns. This way, we're going to know, okay, we're investing, we're locking this so and so money, we're creating a fund, and we're locking this money for 2 years, and we're investing in, let's say, about 5 projects. Out of these 5 projects in the next 2 years, we know that at least one, even if it's one or two, will do something. It kind of like help us to minimize our risk and also to spread our returns. I don't know what you think about that.
okay, great. So now it's a great suggestion, right? And then what we are doing is to give that power, right, to investors. Okay, and that is why we said a minimum of $200. So an investor who has a budget of $500, right, can decide to split that $500 and say, okay, I would invest in 2 projects, right? Then put in $250 in this project and put in $250 in another project. Are you getting me now? So, but for us to now, gather funds and then split them over different projects, we won't be doing that, right? So investors can make a decision because we all have different financial capacity. Some persons might have $5,000 to put in on projects. They now decide to split it and say, okay, this $5,000, so I'll keep it in USDT. I will invest $1 on the next 5 projects that will be coming, right? So another person might decide to say, okay, I have these $2,000. I would invest $500 on each project that is coming, right? So we won't be doing the collection and
Yeah, look,
yes, say again. So each project would have its own allocation. So it's now the investor that will now develop his own coping financial mechanism to say, okay, I don't want to miss out on projects. I want to spread my risk. That's why we make it a minimum of $200 so that you can either enter any of these projects with at least $200. If you can do more, there's nothing stopping you.
okay. So lastly, is there like a minimum duration per project?
Great. So now these projects now they have different duration. There's some projects that will say, okay, 12-month vested period where you can withdraw all your money within the space of that 12 months. Some will say 24-month vesting period, right? Which means it will take 2 years for you to take away all your money from that investment. So now investors can then decide to say, okay, I am leaving this investment. I'm not even pulling out my what is it called? Because what we advise is for investors to leave the money there. You get then also okay, myself, I'm not pulling out this money until the end of next year, right? Or until the end of the vesting period. I don't know if you get my point.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, bro. You're welcome. Okay, any other person? Okay, Winnie said I understand. Bashir Ajao, can you give explanation of the solution this project may be interested in solving before embarking on it. Okay, so now we would also share the information of every project, right? So if we are investing in if we have a project now, we will share the information of the project. We will share the website, all their websites. We will share it. Also, we will share the white paper, the website link. You get it? So you can go read on. That's if you are interested in reading, you can go read and do your own research on them, right? And what's unique about them. So what we'll do is to do our own research, share the project with you as this is the project we are raising a fund for because we've done our research on it, right? So you now look at it, okay, if it interests you, you invest. If it doesn't interest you, you decide not to invest. So the two you will be the two you guys just invested in. I don't get this question. So the two, can you ask a question via audio feed if you can? So because I'm saying are the two you guys just invested? If I get you right, you are saying if the two guys, who are the two guys?
I think what she's trying to say is that I think maybe you mentioned that you'll be dropping some projects soon. So she's asking if the two projects you'll be dropping soon, is it those two that you guys have already invested in at the back end? Or
Oh
she
no
mentioned that
no
you
no.
already invested in some projects.
No. These are fresh projects, right? They are fresh projects. The one we've invested in is Metamol. They're not worried about them, and Plutonia, right? We invested in Plutonia and we invested in Metamol. But these new projects we are putting out, we've not invested in it. It's not the one we've invested. It's fresh project. It's new. Yes, you have answered this already when talking about okay. Will there be a report of periodic performance of projects invested in? Definitely, right? Definitely. So there would, because we are following up on each of these projects, so we also prepare reports, right? That would send out generally as emails to our investors, to the investors who invested in that project, or we can just share it on the group. We'll just share it on the group. So might not everybody open their email. Some of us we still have to even make call and say, oh, we sent a message, oh my email and all that. So for the fact that you are on the group, would every information would send it to you in your group, in the group, and also to your email so that you can always catch up. Any other question, please? Hey, we've already used almost 1 hour 45 minutes. Do you have a portfolio template we can use to monitor our investment? Yeah, we will share with you your allocations and your position in each of the projects you've invested in, right? But for tracking the projects, right, that would be, we can give you, of course, the website. You go to their what's it called? What's it called? Platforms like KuCoin. I say KuCoin. What's it called? Coin Market Cap, Coin Gecko. If those projects have been added to Coin Gecko, or any platform that the information where you can track the performance of these projects, would always share it with you, right? When these projects are making progress, we share with you that, okay, fine, this project is on Coin Market Cap now. You can always follow up on the movement, on the price movement, right? So that's what we can do as of now. I don't know if I answered that question. Thank you. So, any other question? Last question. If there's no other question, probably we'll just round up. And after this presentation, if you are in, right, you can always drop it on the chat, like I'm in. So we know those we are working with, right? So action takers only, right? So we've given you the presentation, shown you how we're going to connect you to these opportunities. So we are only going to work with action takers. 2022, I have promised myself I'm only working with action takers, not storyteller. No. You know what I'm saying now? It's not bad if you can't get started now, but then only action takers. I'm in. And then we know that we are dealing with someone who is cash ready. Do you know what I'm saying now? Cash ready. Right? Cash ready. I would have told you other offers, but it's not in line with this presentation. Probably for those who are following me on WhatsApp, you always get more updates because, of course, I've just committed myself to say, okay, fine, you know what? Something happened to me last year, and then so much opportunities, right? Access, returns. Do you get my point now? Returns. Last year, my finances 10x, like 10x, and then this year is 100x or nothing. 100x or nothing. I don't need anybody to believe in my vision. As I am like this, I'm on fire. If you see me anywhere, I'm on fire. Those who know me, I'm on fire. I don't need anybody to believe in me, or because me myself, my belief is strong. You understand? So because I work with one who runs the universe, so I'm always on fire. Always on fire. It's not pride, I just need to be very confident of what I'm saying. Sometimes affirmation sounds like pride, but then I don't mind. I don't send anybody. So far I'm happy. So far I'm doing. I'm being faithful to God. As a Christian, I'm making sure I'm in line with Christ. It's not to bubble anybody. It's not to convince you to invest. Some persons are carrying Christian up and down and they are scamming people. So I'm just telling you who I am. You get what I'm saying now? So if you are in, just let me know. If you are not in, awesome. Just you see me at the next 10x level. You know what I'm saying now? So you have to also understand that everything comes with risk. Everything comes with risk. I've invested in a coin that never performed. I've invested in a coin that, oh my God, of course, Luna. I got in on Luna at 40 something dollars. And right now, Luna has already hit $100. It's now ranging at $70 something now. I'm very confident that Luna will do more than that. Right? I got in on Atom. I've even mentioned Atom when Atom was around 16 Atom. I got in on Atom when Atom was around $5. And now Atom is trading at 40 something now. I got in on Solana when Solana was 90 something. 90 something. Solana is at 100 and Solana rose to 250 and came down to the current price where it is, and it is very, very undervalued. Even if I'm not going to buy Solana now, but if you buy Solana, you will never regret it. So I'm telling you, projects that I've invested in, the returns that I've made from it. I won't tell you the exact money, but then I can only tell you that this is the returns I've made from it. This is the Awesome. Okay, so thank you very much for your time. I appreciate my colleague Joseph. Who has really, really been active, and he's a very thorough guy. and he knows his onions. And here we are. So thank you for coming on board. We appreciate you. We look forward to seeing you on the other side where money is made. Yes, on the other side where money is made. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you.